When the grid goes down, it won't be gold or guns people wish they had. It'll be the little things. The ones sitting quietly on the bottom shelf at Walmart, marked down to $3.97, that everyone walked past thinking, I'll get it later. But later won't come when the trucks stop running, store lights flicker out, and panic hits hard. Whether you're living on Social Security, raising 3 kids on one income, or just trying to make your student loan stretch through next month, prepping doesn't mean spending hundreds. It means noticing what others ignore, right now while it's still cheap. Because when society shakes, the most valuable tools aren't flashy. They're the ones that keep you warm, fed, safe, and sane. In this video, we're walking through 7 overlooked Walmart items that cost less than a fast food combo, but could be worth their weight in fuel, food, or even medicine in a real crisis. Quiet, affordable, and easy to store. These aren't prepper luxuries. They're survival essentials hiding in plain sight. Let's start with one small flame that could light up your entire night. 1. Unscented tea-lighted candles, light that lasts when the grid doesn't. They sit on the shelf like a forgotten afterthought. Tiny, round, unscented tea-light candles packed in bulk near the home decor in your aisle. But when the lights go out for good, these little circles of wax become a quiet miracle. Each tea light burns for about 4 hours. One 100 pack from Walmart? That's over 400 hours of light, ready to go. No batteries, no noise, no smell. Just a steady glow that calms the nerves and shows you the way. In a grid-down situation, whether you're a senior trying to navigate your home without falling, or a family of 6 crammed into a living room shelter, this kind of light is more than convenience. It's safety. Unlike LED lanterns that burn through batteries or flashlights that draw attention, tea lights are subtle and steady. When placed inside a mason jar, they can even double as makeshift lanterns, lighting up an entire corner of a room. And it's not just about light. In Venezuela's long-term blackouts, families use tea light candles to heat baby formula, warm leftover rice, and brew emergency tea. Just one placed beneath a ceramic bowl can gently warm a small meal or soothe a sick child. Multiply that by 10 or 20, and you've got a low-key cooking setup no one would even think twice about until it's too late. They're also incredibly safe. Their built-in metal casing prevents wax spills and extinguishes the flame once it burns down. That makes them ideal for tiny apartments, RVs, crowded shelters, or grandma's basement. And when panic hits and the shelves go empty, these candles become prime barter items. People will trade food, meds, even batteries for a handful of light in the dark. Light brings calm, light brings dignity, and in the middle of collapse, it brings hope. So while everyone else fights over flashlights, you quietly stock tea lights, because in a dark world, the one with the flame leads. 2. Reusable silicone food covers. Keep it covered, keep it safe. When the fridge stops humming and the plastic wrap runs out, keeping food clean becomes a survival problem, not a preference. That's when silicone food covers stop being a kitchen extra and become frontline defense. They stretch tight over bowls, cans, pots, or half-eaten leftovers, locking out air, bugs, dust, and even rodents. One pack from Walmart includes multiple sizes, each one flexible enough to fit over just about anything you would need to cover, without clips, without tape, and without waste. Let's say you manage to cook a real meal over propane or a small flame. There's no refrigerator, no plastic lids, no clean foil. You can't afford to leave it open to the air, not with contamination and pests lurking. A silicone lid turns that meal into sheltered calories. It holds in warmth, seals out filth, and stretches its shelf life just a little longer, which may be all you need. What really makes these covers powerful is reusability. Wipe it down, rinse with boiled water if needed, and reuse. No trash, no extra cleaning. They were used in Puerto Rico during hurricane recovery to cover medical supplies, drinking water containers, and even first aid gear. Less exposure, less contamination, more control. There's also psychological comfort in keeping things covered and clean. When the world outside is falling apart, being able to protect what's yours, even if it's just a bowl of soup, brings a strange kind of peace. And don't forget the barter value. Most people will panic when the plastic wrap runs out. But if you've got a pack of clean, stretchable, reusable lids, you've got hygiene in your hands. And people will trade a lot for that. Silent, stackable, and sanitary. You won't need them every day, until the day you do. 3. Masking tape, the crisis fixer nobody thinks about. It's not flashy, it's not strong like duct tape, and it's not something most people would ever associate with survival. But when you're deep in a situation where systems break down, masking tape becomes one of the smartest tools you can have. Unlike duct tape, masking tape is lighter, easier to tear by hand, and leaves no sticky mess. That makes it ideal for fast, flexible, non-permanent fixes, especially when tools are limited, hands are full, and speed matters. Here's how it saves the day. A cracked window letting in freezing air. A few strips across the corners cut the draft. Sharing food in need to label containers. Masking tape and a Sharpie become your tracking system. Ripped mosquito net or torn plastic sheet. It holds things in place until you can make a proper repair. It's also a perfect emergency labeling tool, marking ration dates, sealing makeshift food bags, creating clean versus dirty zones in shared shelters, or even building directional signs in a crowded apartment or church basement. After the 2011 tsunami in Japan, survivors used masking tape to label medical kits, divide safe zones, and seal broken windows. Not because it was fancy, but because it was everywhere, and it worked. And let's be real, when things go south, you don't want to be messing with scissors and tangled duct tape. You want quick, clean, reliable. That's masking tape. In blackout kitchens, it marks which pots have been used. In cluttered rooms, it keeps cords out of the way. In shelters, it draws arrows to exits, all without damaging surfaces or causing confusion. Plus, it's dirt cheap. You could buy 5 rolls for under $10 and still have change for canned beans. 4. Heavy-duty zip ties. Tiny tools that lock down chaos. At first glance, they're just cheap plastic strips hanging in the hardware aisle. But in an emergency, zip ties become one of the most underrated problem solvers you can own. Sold in packs for just a few dollars, these lightweight fasteners can do everything from securing gear to reinforcing shelter. And when you're short on time, tools, or manpower, they do it fast. Let's break it down. Tent flap won't stay shut in the wind. Zip tie it. Your bug-out bag strap tears mid-evacuation. Zip tie it. Need to keep a broken cabinet closed, hang a light, seal off a gate, or bundle emergency supplies. Zip ties. Unlike rope or tape, you don't need knots or scissors. Just thread and pull. Done in seconds. No instructions. No strength needed. During Hurricane Katrina and California wildfires, aid workers used heavy-duty zip ties to secure tarps, hang lighting in shelters, and even fasten water jugs to poles for makeshift hand-washing stations. Their speed and strength made them essential when time was short and supplies were thin. And let's talk safety. You can use them to lock up dangerous tools, seal off access points, or even secure doors or fences during civil unrest. For families with kids or vulnerable adults, that kind of control brings real peace of mind. They're also nearly weightless, waterproof, and take up less space than a pen. Stash 50 in a drawer, a backpack, or your glove box and forget about them until the moment you're grateful you had them. When systems fail and everything needs holding together, zip ties don't break and they don't ask questions. Silent, simple, and strong. 5. KitchenAid thermometer, because almost cooked can kill you. Once the power's out and you're cooking over flames, propane, or sterno cans, guessing if food is done enough isn't good enough. One bad bite of undercooked meat or spoiled leftovers can take you down hard. And in a collapse, you can't afford to get sick. That's where a basic kitchen thermometer becomes a quiet hero. This isn't some high-tech gadget. It's a simple, under $10 tool from Walmart's kitchen aisle. The same one folks use for turkeys on Thanksgiving. But in a grid-down world, it becomes a frontline defense against food poisoning. Why? Because once your fridge is warm and your freezer's dripping, you need to know exactly when your food becomes dangerous. Because once you get sick, there's no ER, no antibiotics, no clean water to help you recover. A thermometer tells you in seconds, is your meat fully cooked? Is your reheated stew hot enough to be safe? Is your boiled water truly sterilized? In post-disaster zones from Haiti to the Philippines, aid workers have used thermometers in community kitchens to stop outbreaks before they start. The kachi, a few bucks. The value? Lives saved. You can even use them to check room temperatures in makeshift baby shelters or monitor storage for medications like insulin that can spoil fast in the wrong conditions. It's compact, battery-powered or manual, fits in a pocket or clipped to your emergency cook kit. And in a barter economy, that little device makes you the go-to person. When others are gambling with guesswork, you're working with data. You don't need it every day. But the day you do, it could keep you out of a hospital that no longer works. In survival, you either measure or you gamble. The smart ones measure. 6. Reflective snow stakes. Light the way when the world goes dark. Most people walk past them every winter, those tall, skinny stakes with a little reflective tape at the top, used to mark snowy driveways. But in a blackout, especially one that drags on for days or weeks, reflective snow stakes turn into lifesavers. When the grid fails, it's not just your house that goes dark. Street lights, porch lights, flashlights that burn out after 2 nights, it all disappears. And without light, everything becomes dangerous. People trip on stairs. Kids fall down hallways. Elderly parents get disoriented trying to find the bathroom at 2 a.m. That's where these simple plastic or fiberglass stakes come in. Hammer them into the ground outside to mark safe walkways, property lines, or dangerous drop-offs. Tape them inside to guide people through long, dark hallways. Use them in shelters to divide space, mark exits, or keep high-traffic areas safe. In post-hurricane zones and tornado-hit communities, relief crews have used garden stakes and makeshift reflectors to guide people through debris fields, prevent injuries, and organize movement at night, especially in communal settings with no electricity. What makes snow stakes different? No batteries, no bulbs, no need to be replaced. They're always on, and they can be seen from far away with just the smallest bit of light. Moonlight, candles, or a solar lamp. They weigh almost nothing, cost a few dollars for a multi-pack, and they stack easily in a closet, garage, or trunk. You won't think much of them until you realize you need to see to survive. And yes, barter potential is high. Visibility tools are like gold in chaos. Most people won't think about them until it's too late. But the person with a few glowing markers, they'll be leading the way for everyone else. 7. Instant hand warmers. Pocket-sized heat. When the freeze hits, when the power's out and the cold creeps in, even a few degrees of warmth can mean the difference between a safe night and a dangerous one. That's why instant hand warmers, the kind that sell in multi-packs at Walmart for under $10, aren't just about comfort. They're about survival. Most people associate them with football games or ski trips. But when a winter storm knocks out the grid and your home drops below 40 degrees, that tiny pouch becomes the most valuable thing in your pocket. They activate with air, no batteries, no fire, no setup, and they generate heat for up to 10 hours. After the Texas freeze in 2021, people use them inside gloves, socks, under blankets, even sewn into clothing. Families tuck them into their kids' jackets to make it through bitter nights without heat. And unlike space heaters or candles, they're safe for children, the elderly, and people stuck in one place. The physical warmth is obvious. But the psychological effect is just as powerful. In a cold shelter or blackout basement, warm hands mean calm nerves. A warm back helps you sleep. For people in shock, the feeling of controlled heat can prevent panic. And here's the secret. They're flat, silent, and nearly weightless. You can stash them in every coat pocket, glove box, or emergency tote without even noticing. But when you pull one out on day 3 of no heat, you'll feel like you just struck gold. Now imagine the barter value. When the nights turn brutal and the stores are empty, people will trade food, tools, even medicine for just a few hours of heat. A 24-pack gives you 24 chances to help your family or make a trade that gets you what you need. Heat is life, and in the freezing dark, the one with warm hands moves forward while the rest freeze in place. Don't wait until it's gone. None of these items scream, "Amafim survival gear." They're not locked behind glass cases or marked up like doomsday tools. But that's exactly why they matter. When shelves go empty and systems break down, it won't be the flashiest gear that saves you. It'll be the quiet, practical, cheap items that nobody thought to grab, the kind that sit untouched until they become priceless. Every candle, zip tie, thermometer, and food cover on this list costs less than a drive-through lunch. But when the lights go out or the cold sets in, they'll be worth more than gold to the people who didn't prepare. The beauty of prepping smart is that it doesn't have to break your budget. You don't need to panic. You just need to think ahead. Now, while everything's still on the shelf. So next time you walk into Walmart or place an online order, throw in one or two of these. Stack them in a drawer, a bin, your trunk. Forget about them until the day comes when you're so glad you didn't. And before you go, drop your own overlooked survival item in the comments. What's your secret $3 lifesaver? If this video gave you something to think about, give it a thumbs up. It helps more folks out there, especially those living on a tight budget, start building smart, small, life-saving preps. We've got more breakdowns coming next week. Until then, stay safe, stay sharp, and stay ready.